Greetings everyone. This month we are discussing about Chloroform Commission. The history of Hyderabad Chloroform Commissions is a pivotal chapter in the development of anesthesiology, bridging the gap between 19th century clinical practice and modern medical science. In the 19th century, the actual cause of death from chloroform was not known and therefore it became the subject of great controversy. In England alone, the number of deaths due to inhalation of chloroform has reached up to 123 by the end of 1863. In 1864, the Royal Medical College and Chirurgical Society appointed a committee for investigation. The committee reported that as an anesthetic, ether is far safer than chloroform because an overdose of ether was given, the respiration stopped before heart, and it was possible to revive the patient through artificial respiration. Whereas due to overdose of chloroform, the action of heart stopped before the respiration and the patient could not be revived. In 1877, the Glasgow Committee did nothing more than reassuring both those who used ether and those who used chloroform. In 1888, Edward Lorry entered the argument. In 1864, the Royal Medical and Chirurgical Society appointed a committee for investigation. The committee reported that as an anesthetic, ether is far safer than chloroform because an overdose of ether was given, the respiration stopped before the heart, and it was possible to revive the patient through artificial respiration. Whereas, due to the overdose of chloroform, the action of heart stopped before the respiration and the patient could not be revived. In 1877, the Glasgow Committee did nothing more than reassuring both those who used ether and those who used chloroform. In 1880, Edward Lorry entered the argument. Dr. Major Edward Lorry. He had been a medical student and a house surgeon of Professor James Syme at Edinburgh. He used chloroform anesthesia in thousands of patients, and it is said that there are no incidents when administered in the manner of his teachers who had taught him that death during chloroform is primarily due to respiratory failure, and if the respirations were carefully watched, the pulse could be ignored. He believed that chloroform was absolutely safe if administered by the method of Edinburgh School. He was in Indian Medical Service and appointed as the surgeon in the British Residency in Hyderabad. He very soon became the principal of Medical School of Hyderabad and also the personal physician of Nawab Mir Muhammad Ali Khan, the Nizam VI. The formation of first chloroform committee. In 1888, he persuaded the Nizam VI to pay for the scientific research work on safety of chloroform. This commission consisted of Surgeon Patrick Heiher as president, Dr. A. Chamaratis as member, and Dr. J. A. Kelly also a member. A series of experiments were performed on the dogs to determine the exact cause of death due to chloroform anesthesia. The aim of the commission was to have an important bearing on the way in which the administration of anesthesia ought to be conducted in the human objects. The conclusions are that the chloroform can be given to dogs by inhalation with perfect safety and without any fear of accidental death if only the respiration is carefully attended to throughout. The findings on the first commission were published in the Lancet but faced immediate criticism from the Western doctors. The Lancet itself argued that the commission has species bias. The findings which prioritized respiration over the heart were utterly at variance with clinical experience in Europe. Insufficient data. They argued that dogs were notoriously non susceptible to chloroform syncope and therefore did not accurately represent the risks faced by the human patients. Clinical incompatibility. It also claimed that the first commission provided scanty statements of the experiments and merely a dogmatic assertion instead of a detailed authoritative. The Lancet also stated that the Commission, if it inculcate a disregard of the heart as a factor in chloroform dangers, it will do harm and provoke a slipshod carelessness in the use of that valuable anesthetic, which must in the long run do damage to the cause the Commission has espoused. Undeterred, Dr. Lorry insisted on repeating the experiments with an observer chosen by the Lancet. He was also able to persuade the Nizam to offer a sum of 1000 rupees to Lancet to send out a representative to repeat the experiments of Hyderabad Chloroform Commission. In response to this offer, the Lancet proposed Dr. T. Lauder Brunton as its representative to repeat the experiments on the commission. Dr. Thomas Lauder Brunton was an authority on the action of drugs on heart and has published books on this subject. The second Hyderabad Chloroform Commission was formed in 1889 and it was presided over by Dr. Lorry. The members included Dr. Thomas Lauder Brunton, Major Gerald Bomford, and Dr. Rustomji. The president and members of the first commission were also associated. For 3 months, the Commission performed various kinds of experiments on 600 animals, which included dogs, horses, monkeys, goats, cats, and rabbits. In December 1889, the report was completed. The primary conclusions included on administration of chloroform by inhalation, the respiration stops first, followed by the heart. One of the most significant findings also include that the administration of chloroform also causes a fall of blood pressure and dilatation of ventricles of the heart. In every case where chloroform was pushed to a lethal dose, the respiration ceased before the heart stopped. The Commission found that vagus nerve inhibition of the heart is actually a safeguard as it slows circulation and delays the absorption of chloroform into the system. It established strict rules like the recumbent position for patients and the necessity of guiding the administration entirely by the patients. To address the Lancet's skepticism, the second commission significantly upgraded its scientific rigor. The number and species used in the experiment was far more than the first commission. The commission used self-recording manometers to create permanent photographic chymographic records of blood pressure, heart movement, and respiration. This allowed the researchers worldwide to judge the data for themselves. To counter the arguments that healthy animals did not represent clinical risks, they performed experiments on animals with fatty hearts, as induced by phosphorus, on diseased organs, or those in various states of fasting or shock. The Commission has made numerous observations on every individual animal. The results were more instructive, and all the records were photographed. Even with all the efforts, there was huge criticism on the second commission also. Leonard Hill, a distinguished physiologist, pointed out that no less than 6% of the animals died unobserved in the induction boxes before any formal research could be conducted. Ignoring these deaths, the researchers gave away their whole case. He described the doctrine that chloroform only kills via respiratory centers as one of the most pernicious and dangerous doctrines ever put before the medical profession. The Lancet later conducted a clinical inquiry through questionnaires to thousands of doctors, and the results overwhelmingly supported the views of earlier committees which found that the heart failure was the common form of death in humans, directly opposing the Hyderabad Commission's animal based conclusions. Other points raised in criticism are one of the physiologists, Gasket and Shore, at the Cambridge Physiology Laboratory, conducted cross circulation experiments using two dogs. They demonstrated that the blood containing chloroform directly excites the vasomotor center and depresses the heart's action, causing blood pressure to fall. Goodman Levy in 1911 eventually identified that the commission primarily tested animals under deep anesthesia or with use of morphine. Mr. Levy discovered that the greatest danger is ventricular fibrillation, which occurs during light anesthesia, a condition that the Commission did not sufficiently investigate. Medical journals also expressed concern that the Commission's insistence on ignoring the pulse would inculcate a disregard to the heart, as the heart and circulation provide vital signs of danger that an administrator must not ignore. The discussion on Chloroform Commission would be incomplete without discussing the contributions of Dr. Rupabai Fardonji. Dr. Rupabai Fardonji was famously known as the first lady anesthetist of the world. She administered anesthesia in the British Residency Hospital, the Afzalganj Hospital, and the Zenana Hospital, Hyderabad, between the years 1889 and 1917. Ms. Rupabai completed her studies in Hyderabad Medical School during 1885 to 1889, the time at which Dr. Lorry was the principal. The degree acquired was called as Hakim. She also pursued a medical degree from Johns Hopkins Hospital, Baltimore. In 1909, with the encouragement from Miss Annie Besant, Dr. Fardunji went to Edinburgh, Scotland, to gain more experience and knowledge in the anesthetics. As there was no separate qualification available in anesthesia in those days, she obtained diploma in physics and chemistry from the Edinburgh University. The chief surgeon of British Residency, also the principal of Hyderabad Medical School, Surgeon Major Edward Lorry, has eulogized her expertise in administering chloroform anesthesia in page 274 in the book A Report on Hyderabad Chloroform Commissions, published in 1891. She has an influential voice in the Hyderabad Chloroform Commissions held in 1888 and 1889. She retired from Nizam's medical services as superintendent of Chandergarh Hospital in 1920. The days after her retirement were untraceable. In the days where there was no separate specialty like anesthesiology, the expertise of Dr. Rupabai was highly appreciated. Her certificates are preserved in the Indian Institute of History of Medicine in Osmania Medical College. She was revered as the first lady anesthetist of the world. In the history of Indian modern medicine, she was a lost gem who pioneered in bringing modern medicine to India as well brought international recognition to the country.